Welcome back from lunch, everyone. And welcome back from lunch, everyone. And I put up something here on the slide that you may think I have come up with for this presentation. But you may not believe me if I tell you that this quote's actually from a famous British building architect from about 50 years ago. And they were discussing how to improve how people are architecting and designing buildings. And this was his quote. Now, I think it's super relevant for the times we are living in right now. And maybe if you think about the pace of change for the last couple of years, it's becoming even more relevant. So I would like to start by thanking all of you for being here. I think Tomorrow Street is something that we are extremely proud of at Vodafone and very happy to be part of as a joint venture with the Luxembourg government. And we think it's a great way to collaborate with both a lot of exciting startups and a lot of exciting existing partners to us. Let me share you a little bit on how Vodafone views technology and where we are going forward. For those of you that are working with Vodafone today, you have known that we have a business strategy. We've been working for a long time. And we got a new CEO that started from 1st of October. And when we did our 6 months results presentation back in November, our CEO, Nick Reed, he put on this slide and saying, this is Vodafone's slightly updated strategy going forward. And I just wanted to highlight a few things, since if you are working with us, I think it will be helpful for you to understand how we're thinking and where we're going forward. So overall, we have got 3 big business segments that we're working with, business units. One is the consumer business in Europe, which is very big and very important to us. The second piece is the consumer segments in emerging markets. And the third one is overall the business segment of enterprises, i.e. SOHO, SMEs, or large national or international companies. So those are the 3 business segments. And our strategy there is to do deeper customer engagement. We are not really changing a huge amount of customers that we intend to grab from other competitors. It's really about how do we extend the business we are doing with our customers. And hence, if you're working with Vodafone, you may help us there to think about how can we extend what we are selling to our customers today and provide one more service, get them to see the value in one extra service to that customer. That would be one of our main business strategies. We're also talking about platforms and scaled platforms. Our viewpoint is that Vodafone has today more than 600 million customers. 600 million customers is quite impressive. There's not that many operators in the world that has that. Now, we want to make it easy for companies to partner with us. And one feedback we'll be getting is it's not always that easy to do business with Vodafone. I guess if you're suppliers to us, you already knew that. Now, we want to be really easy to partner up with. Hence, we need to make it easier to have both a commercial agreement with Vodafone as well as a technical agreement, and an easy technical integration. So how do we make sure that it's like a one agreement, one contract, one technical integration, and you can reach those 600 million customers? And that's something we don't have in place today, but that's something we intend to create. So if you have any great ideas there, we are very interested in hearing in that. And we have some examples of what we believe are emerging scalable platforms in Vodafone that we intend to build upon. And one of the best successes we have is the leading IoT platform. We have today about 80 million SIMs on our global IoT platform. We've been building this over the last 10 years, and it's growing fairly fast. We are taking market share in that area, and we are viewed as Gartner as being the leader. But how can we continue to evolve and grow the IoT business, both added value in the connectivity, as well as creating add-on services? And here we got a new API toolkit that we launched around our IoT platform to have partners being able to innovate on top of the IoT platform and make it easier to develop worldwide IoT solutions. We're also competing on best gigabit network, digital first, as well as radical simplification. So that's how we want to compete in the market. We want to have, there shouldn't be in each market a network that's better than ours. We don't need to be significantly better than competition, but we don't want to be worse than competition. And that is both fixed and mobile. Most of you know us as a mobile company. But you should know that after we have done the Liberty Global acquisition and done that integration, we will have fiber to the home or cable TV to more than 50 million households in Europe. Quite a big footprint. And we view ourselves as going from a mobile-only to a converged operator in many of our markets. On radical simpler is something we want to drive, and the word radical comes from our CEO. He thinks we are not simple enough at all. And I said, if you're working with us, you may want us to be somewhat simpler. We're trying to be, you can push on us there. And internally, we're trying to drive simplification in offerings to customers, how we work with customers digitally, as well as technology-wise, old products, legacy, etc. So there's a lot of work going on in that space. So that's about the business strategy. Let me then move over to technology. So those of you that have been working with us, hopefully you recognize this slide. Otherwise, we have not succeeded enough in getting the message out. This is the technology strategy, the one-pager framework that we set back in 2015. There is a lot of material in each area on what we are doing. We have done an annual refresh on this strategy. Internally, we feel that we have really succeeded in our technology strategy and getting it in place. Because when we created it, it was really a global work. Every single Vodafone country was involved in creating the strategy. We had more than 300 people in the working groups, and there was a numerous amount of review and debates on the strategy in local executive committee meetings as well as globally. And we've done an annual update to make sure this is refreshed. So how has it gone? Well, overall, I'm very pleased with the progress we made. And if I give you some stats on some things we've done, and we have not communicated external about these things before, actually. So I think this is the first fora that we actually start sharing some of the KPIs we have achieved on the technology transformations. Maybe pieces have been said before, but I've never disclosed some of the things I'm going to be covering right now. So we have been doing a major change on moving over to a cloud-based architecture. We have created internally a private cloud, and we're also working with external public clouds. On our IT applications, we have moved 45% of our IT applications either to the internal cloud or over to public cloud, predominantly AWS. That has happened in the last 3 years with quite a big focus on it. At the same time, on the network side, there's a lot to talk in the industry about network function, virtualization, etc. And many people talk to doing things. So we have in production, in 17 countries, in over more than 50 physical locations, we've got more than 400 network functions running on our internal cloud. And that is progressing in the range of between 20 and 40 being moved every quarter. It's a lot of progress in what's happening here. That's starting to give us tremendous benefit when how we manage our internal functions as well as utilizations on hardware. So that has been major changes. But what then about operational KPIs? How have we impacted the operational KPIs? Well, at the same time, I'm happy to say we got best ever reported KPIs on our networks. We have never had better KPIs on the mobile networks as well on the fixed side. Never better. If you look on our customer experience side. But we also have had a 65% reduction of incidents the last 3 years on the mobile networks, and an 89% reduction of incidents in our data centers. So pace of change and the transformation has been very high. Still, the operational KPIs from a customer viewpoint has gone up, and incidents has gone down. It's not that easy to make all of these three things happen at the same time. Normally, when we make a lot of changes, you have a lot of negative impact. You have a lot of incidents, KPIs degrade. So I'm extremely pleased with that. How come that has happened? Well, part of it is how we work with technology, but the biggest piece I would attribute to culture. We've been working a lot with the culture, and much more applying a culture which is about if something goes wrong, what can we learn? Instead, something went wrong, who should we fire? It's better to understand what went wrong, what do we need to change in processes or ways of working. I mean, just face it, life is too short to make all the mistakes by yourself. You need to learn from others. And if you don't create a learning organization, you don't get things to improve. And I think that has been one of the most important factors to help us increase pace of change, improve the KPIs and fewer incidents. The learning path of the organization has improved significantly. I'm very pleased with that part. So what happens now going forward? Well, we kicked off a few weeks back something we call Tech 2025. That's our review on where we want to be 2025. And in conjunction with that, our CEO then spoke back in November about the business strategy. He also said he wanted the company to change to a technology communications company. Because we've been a communications company. I think we know what the technology company is. And they want us to become a technology communications company. And we're starting chartering that course now. And what does it mean for Vodafone? How more do we need to change? And how do we add more value? And how can we contribute to the revenue growth of Vodafone, which is one of our bigger challenges. So we have started to work on that, and we're now charting then a framework on how do we need to change internally when it comes to values, structure, architecture, culture, etc., to make that happening. And also creating the common alignment around what is that target we are aspiring for. But we're just in the early days of that, so let's see where that comes out. So where do all of you fit in here? And those of you that we already do business with, we're extremely grateful for that business we're doing with you. You are part of the success. When I mentioned those KPIs, that pace of change, it's not us that have done that ourselves. You have all been part of making that happen if you're an existing partner to us today. So for that, I thank you. You have a part of that success. And I hope you have also felt a part of the things we are changing in the way of acting. I don't know if it's reached out to you, but from my viewpoint, I see it very clearly. So thank you all of you for that. For those of you that we don't do business with, well, if you look on that, we have done a gap analysis on where are we today versus our ambitions. We still have things we have not achieved. You can both help and challenge our existing partners, because maybe you can do something better than existing partners. So we need your help there. In other areas, we have gaps. We need your help there to plug those. And especially if you are a startup, a newer company, you've been around a few years, we have a lot to learn from you. We feel that we are a very big company. We are not fast enough as we want to be. We sometimes have a very much of a not invented here thinking. What more can we learn from you? How can you impact us? And there is so much we need to learn from all of you that are here today. So I ask you for your help and support to make that happen. I want to end with this slide. This is a slide I never used it externally before. This is a slide I use internally with all the leaders in the company. This is my demand on all the leaders in Vodafone, or what I require out of them for being a leader in Vodafone within technology. I have a demand on them, everyone personally, that every day they need to be a role model in the organization. They need to lead by example. And it's easy to do that when everything is going right. It's Friday, it's spring, sun is shining, you've done all your stuff, inbox is almost empty, and life is good, and it's easy to be a role model like. But then it comes Monday morning, it's raining like crazy. you have so many emails, your boss is pissed off, and you got a major incident. It's not that easy to be a role model. But sorry, that's my expectation on all of the leaders. It's really about lead by example and qualify every day. And that's my humble request to all of you here. You need to help us live up to that. You need to act like that with us. We have to do a great job for our customers. What's great with those KPIs is it's having a positive effect on our customers. We are doing a better job for them. So you need to help us do that job, and you need to act and think like that. And you should demand that from the Vodafone people you meet. So with that, I hope this gave you some insights in how we're thinking at Vodafone and where we are going. And please ask for your help to make us a better company. Support us, challenge us, and also accept when we say, sorry, this doesn't work. I hope you're going to have 2 really good days here at the Arch Summit. Thank you.